Spotlight.
I waved.
Hello, my name is Carl Snow. I am going to give a coat of arms speech today to all of you. I'm going to talk a little bit about myself. And if we look at the coat of arms, where I'm from, memories of my childhood, things I'm good at, things I'd like to be better at, my goal in life, and what I want to be said about me at my funeral. So, I like to talk a little bit about myself, where I'm from. I was born in Lakeland, Florida. It was at the Lakeland General Hospital. Now it's the Lakeland Memorial Hospital, so we've progressed since that time. I'm 42 years old, and I'd like to say that I'm very proud that all of my daughters were all born at the same hospital that I was. So we're keeping a family tradition here in Lakeland. Now, connected to where I'm from, I left from here and I've come back to here. And this talks about my childhood memories. One of the most profound things in my childhood memories is the fact that I lived all over the place. I remember some of my earliest memories was living on the Azore Islands of Portugal. My dad was in the Air Force, and we lived on some islands right off the coast of Portugal. That was where my life began in my memory. And then when we came back to the States, we lived here in Lakeland again, but then my parents got divorced when I was 8 years old. And because of the divorce, I ended up moving back and forth between parents frequently. I ended up going to 27 schools, 13 states, and 5 different countries before I was 21. Now I've come back to Florida at the age of 21, and I haven't left. And I really don't care to do any more traveling. Matter of fact, I tend to have a hard time wanting to travel to Orlando or Tampa. I think I got it all out of my system. When I was 17, almost 18, I hitchhiked from Gainesville, Georgia to California and back, and I lived on the streets for 6 months by a decision just to say that I did it, and I did it, and I'm still here. I'd like to also talk about some things that I'm good at. Specifically, the thing that I like to focus on is that I'm a musician. I've been a musician since I was very little. I learned to play the piano when I was 5 years old. And at this point, I play 7 different instruments, and I would probably play more instruments if I had more instruments to get my hands on. It's not that I'm really good at any of the instruments. Not good. I'm not a professional at any of them. I'm not at the height of mastery. But the music's on the inside of me. So whatever I put my hands on, I'm able to bring music out of it. And if you wanted to count my vocals, that would be my 8th instrument. I play piano, I play guitar, I play bass guitar, I play flute, I play blues harmonica, I play drums, and I play the didgeridoo, and I sing. And that's been one of my passions and talents throughout my life. I'd also like to share with you something that I would like to get better at. Currently, I'm going to college right now because I have a burden on my heart to become an author. And that's going to tie into the goal of my life. But I'd like to talk about the reasoning behind becoming an author. I'm an avid reader. I love to read. I go overboard, and I love to write. And through many years of ministry through my life, I've had a lot of one-on-one dialogues with people. And it's through those conversations and life coaching, if you will, that have given me a large repertoire of information and compassion and insight. And I'd like to put it in books. I felt like one of the reasons for the books is in life and in Christianity, we have a bunch of rules, a bunch of do's and don'ts. But the one thing that seems to be overlooked quite often is, in my opinion, we're not keeping the main thing the main thing. And the main thing is that we love one another. And if you look at Paul, he would talk about in the scriptures, the 10 Commandments. He said, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery, or any other commandment that you want to give. It's justly said that God gave us these commandments so we would love one another. The do's and the don'ts is all about guiding us down this certain path, and the path is love. And that brings me to the goal of my life. The goal of my life is to allow God's love to fill me to such a point that when you see me, you see the Father. And I know that that's a life goal. I can't just accomplish that in just a few moments or because I have an idea. It's something that I have to practice, and I've been practicing for many years. And I've also, through all these years of practice, I've come to understand the more I grow and the more I learn, the less I really know. There's so much further that I need to go. And lastly, the words that I want to be said at my funeral. I've shared this with my wife, and I've shared this with others, but I've said this for many years. On my epitaph, I wanted to say, here lies Carl Snow, a man who walked by love. And I feel like if I get to that point at my gravesite and everybody's in agreement with what's said on my headstone, that I did what God put me here to do. And that's the end of my speech. Thank you very much.